If your Batman is already a bad guy, what is his Owlman counterpart? Okay, so my Batman is not a bad guy. My Batman is one of the disassociated personalities of Bruce Wayne, whose sanity was shattered when he witnessed his parents murdered in front of him. Bruce Wayne was already probably on the schizoaffective scale, not neurotypical. He's very brilliant, extremely hardworking, obsessive compulsive. But the disassociated personality, Batman, basically existed as a manic state to protect him from trauma. So over time, this manic state, he became schizoaffective, and the manic state basically took over his life. And in this period, my version of Batman was Matches Malone, Batman, Bruce Wayne, Bane, the Batman of Zur-En-Augh, Killer Moth, Owlman, Hush, sort of. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anybody. The Dark Knight, which is like his scary. We see all of these in the second half of Superman for All Mankind. Spoilers. Remember the burning angel at the end of the Batman DeathWish pitch? That's Clark. He got it. DeathWish takes place during Superman for All Mankind, which is funny because if they were ever comics, it would be released right before. So you think Batman dies and this story starts, when in reality they're happening next to each other. The fall of Lex Luthor and the fall of Bruce Wayne are happening simultaneously. So what's really cool is that Superman essentially kidnaps Bruce Wayne and traps him in Blue Beetle's bug. The Blue Beetle and Clark kidnap him. And then in Superman in the Society Endangered Species, which is one I'll probably pitch on here eventually, they met these guys, Victor Von Fries and Edward Crane, who were both scientists working for LexCorp, who both sort of got fucked over by LexCorp and ended up kind of losing their minds. Clark Kent, the reporter, was able to stop Victor Fries before he basically turned into a supervillain to save his frozen wife. Clark was able to literally talk him down without becoming Superman, as Batman closed in to basically beat the shit out of him for no reason, this frantic guy who's just trying to save his wife and got fucked over by Lex. Clark, the man, basically talked to Victor and was like, no matter what, I will see Lex Luthor brought to justice, but you have to surrender now. You have to surrender. And at this point, Victor had already frozen like 3 people. He'd killed 3 people. He'd lost his mind. And Victor is like, I'm going out there. I'm going to kill basically all the cops and break my way out of here and steal my wife's corpse. And Clark had been doing a report on Victor. So he basically is like, no, don't do that. Please, I promise you, I will fix this. I will save your wife. And Victor Fries goes, and freezes Clark and starts to walk outside. And then Clark goes like that and breaks out of it. And Victor turns back like in the lobby of this building with all these SWAT teams and the National Guard arriving outside. And Clark sits up and he goes, Victor, I promise you. And Victor goes, how? And Clark goes, like that. And Victor goes, you're him. And Superman goes, Victor, I will save her. You need to surrender now. They will kill you. Batman will send you to Arkham and you will never see her again. Lex Luthor will kill her. He will get rid of her. He will put her in a vault. Let me save you. And Victor starts sobbing and puts the gun down, surrenders peacefully. And so, but through that, Clark is able to get this thing called fear toxin. And so Clark grabs Batman, who's lost his mind and burned down Wayne Manor, and doses himself and Batman with fear toxin. And Batman goes, you don't know what you're doing. And Clark goes, yeah, that's kind of the point. And they go on the entire second half of Superman for All Mankind is Batman and Clark and Bruce go inside of Batman's head. And there are sequences that look like Batman the Animated Series and Dark Knight Rises, and it would, if it ever existed, it would just be the ultimate tribute to the character Batman, as Bruce Wayne is walked through this crazy thing, and it's ayahuasca, it's MDMA, it's healing therapy. He's confronted with all of his worst fears. So when they first appear, Bruce Wayne is a helpless little boy. He's just a scared, crying little boy, and Clark is an alien. Because that's what Clark is terrified of. He's like a creepy alien. And then throughout their crazy journey, unpacking all their trauma, realizing that they're brothers. They're both orphans. They're both people who need to be united. They can't afford to be enemies. They have to love each other. They have a fucking kid together. Dick is their kid. They're partners. The world's finest. Superman and Batman, that's bullshit. That's for TV. Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne want to change Earth and make it a better place. So as they have to fight Bane in a Mexican wrestling ring, they have to fight the Dark Knight, who attacks them using the Batmobile from Zack Snyder's BVS, Batman versus Superman, the killer Batmobile. They have to basically be normal people going up against the superhero versions of themselves. Superman witnesses a thing like the end of Man of Steel, where a whole city is destroyed, because that's his biggest fear. So they support each other. And what's so cool is by the end of it, they have realized they're brothers and basically love each other, and they both look like men. And they escape. And then the final scene of For Superman for All Mankind is this diner. There's a diner. And Bruce Wayne is sitting in it. And he's just in like a fleece parka. It's like North Gotham, upstate New York. And this is the last scene of Superman for All Mankind, the penultimate story of the Kryptonian epic. And Bruce Wayne's sitting in this diner at a little diner booth. And this guy comes in. Imagine like De Niro now, old De Niro. And De Niro goes down and sits across from Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne just looks at him. And the guy goes, you know, I've been waiting for this moment for 40 years. You know, since before we ever met, I've been waiting for this moment. You know, when I saw you, you were just a kid. And I remember when I asked your parents for money, you came back. You know, I was never a smart guy. My father owned a diner just like this. And it closed down after the little quakes in the 90s. I ended up hanging out in Crime Alley all the time. Methamphetamine, you know, it's not an excuse. Bruce Wayne's just looking at the guy, and the guy goes, that night, you know, that night for me is every night. And I don't know how you process this, Mr. Wayne, but that night for me is every night to this moment. Every night in prison, right up until they release me. And I got nowhere to go, because every night, even out of jail, I'm still in jail. Because I know you're still in jail. Because I took your parents from you. And I'm just so sorry. And Bruce Wayne goes like this. And Joe Chill is sitting there looking at him. And Bruce Wayne goes, I think you and I can relate more than you know. I've made mistakes. I've hurt people. For a long time, I thought criminals were almost subhuman. I thought you were subhuman. Some sort of cartoon villain stole everything from me. And I thought there needed to be a cartoon hero who could come and catch you. They're just looking at each other, and Joe goes, Mr. Wayne, I'm sorry. And Bruce goes, the past is the past. Now we have to move forward. You own this diner, by the way. Bruce gets up and walks out. And Joe Chill goes, what? Hey, what? Like that. And as he gets up, the woman at the diner goes, Mr. Chill, where we put the friolators? And he goes, the friolators go in the back. Everybody, no, why are you asking me? Mr. Wayne, Mr. Wayne. And he runs out. Bruce Wayne is gone. But they're pulling the tarp down off the sign for the diner. And it's called The Second Chance. Joe Chill's just standing there staring at it. Bruce Wayne gets into the rental car. And Clark's sitting behind the wheel like this, like, and Bruce Wayne goes, and Clark goes, how was that? And Bruce goes, heavy? I don't know. And Clark goes, well, what do you want to do now? And Clark goes, or Bruce goes, I would kill for a donut. And Clark goes, you want to go back into the diner? And Bruce goes, Clark, drive. And that's the end of For All Mankind, is all the superheroes are now friends. Everyone knows each other. Batman no longer exists, but Bruce Wayne is moving forward towards something else. And that I will not spoil until the Kryptonian epic.